Welcome to this short video which explains how you can use GyroFX to analyze your vertical, 45-degree, and horizontal angles during an aerobatic flight. Let's load one of the demonstration flights, which is an advanced sequence. When the flight is first loaded, GyroFX will set up the 3D viewer with whatever settings you have defined in your default preset. In this case, I set the chase camera so that when I start the animation, the camera follows the aircraft at a fixed distance. I can use the mouse to move around the aircraft and zoom in. Let's look at a half flick on a 45-degree upline. I'll stop the animation before the flick. I can now rotate my view of the aircraft. Looking at the horizon, the angle looks to be about 45 degrees. The ribbon is useful for a general impression, but remember that it is the flight path and is affected by wind. I'll turn off the ribbon and turn on the aircraft datum lines which show the pitch and roll lines through the aircraft. We can now see the pitch attitude of the aircraft more clearly. I'll now turn on the axis lines which are centered on the aircraft and show the axis of the aero box for this sequence. The blue line is the B-axis. The red is the A-axis. And the green is the vertical. The final tool to accurately measure angles is a protractor. This has lines at 45 and 90-degree angles, large markings at 10 degrees and small markings at 5 degrees. It always measures in the vertical plane. Notice that as we rotate the view of the aircraft, the pitch angle measured by the yellow line on the protractor changes because of the parallax effect. In order to measure an accurate angle, we need to view the aircraft from a position along one of the axes. At the right-hand side of the screen there are three buttons, which snap to a view along one of the three axes, A, B, and the vertical. The aircraft is currently flying along the A-axis, so I'll click on the B-axis button to show a side-on view. If I click again, the view will flip to the other side. I can now see that the upline was at 41 degrees. Using the A-axis button, I can see that the aircraft has rolled to the right. And the view from above shows that the aircraft is slightly off track from the red A-axis. Let's watch the half flick and measure the upline after it's completed. It's settled at 36 degrees. A view from the front is ideal for measuring the angles on this 4x8 roll. Whilst these tools are useful, the screen can become cluttered. So you are able to change the opacity of the protractor, aircraft datum lines, and the axis lines. Of course, you can always individually turn off each of the tools. That covers the tools available for angle analysis, but I now want to talk about calibration. The flight recorder should be installed so that it is parallel to the zero pitch datum when in level flight. This can be difficult to achieve in a tailwheel aircraft. Let's look at a flight where the flight recorder is not aligned correctly. I've stopped the animation in a position where the aircraft was in level flight between figures. Let's look down the B-axis and zoom in. If I now turn on the protractor and axis tools, we can now see that the aircraft has an incorrect pitch angle of about 7 degrees. Starting the animation show that the verticals are also incorrect by 7 degrees. We can now apply a correction of 7 degrees to the pitch attitude. Open the settings panel and in the flight tab, enter 7 degrees in the pitch correction field. Close the settings drawer and the 3D viewer will reload the aircraft with the corrected pitch. Moving back to the level flight, we can see that the pitch attitude is now correct. This is applied to the whole flight. For those installations where the angle of the flight recorder is fixed, for example attached with Velcro, GyroFX can store the pitch correction. In the other tab in Settings, you can enter a list of the aircraft that you fly. And for each aircraft you can enter the correction data. That concludes this short video which explains how you can use GyroFX to analyze your vertical, 45-degree, and horizontal angles during an aerobatic flight. If you want to find out more about how GyroFX can help improve your aerobatics, then there are more tutorial videos on this YouTube channel. Alternatively, you can get a free evaluation license by registering at gyrofx.net.